Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever the case may be, wherever you're tuning in from. You're very welcome to Post-Match Khanage. Post-Match Khanage from Brentford 3, Liverpool 1. Um, thank you very much for tuning in. Nearly 500 of you waiting for some chat about Liverpool, or maybe some ever Brentford chat, or maybe just come to say hi. I don't know. But you're all very welcome. Whatever team you support, whatever fan base you're from, whatever your opinion, however you want to say it, speak it. Today, I've just come back from the game, so I may have missed a few incidents, whatever. I haven't had a chance to go through it all. But of course, for that, I've got Cav, who obviously saw it on the screen. I had the match experience. Together, we're going to try to break it down for you guys as a team. Cav, I just want to open up with the line and or a statement and say that for the last 5 years, give or take a year here and there, we've been one of the hardest teams to play against in world football, and I loved every single minute of it. Cav, today, not only today, but in the last 6 to 12 months, possibly, we've slowly, gradually become one of the easiest teams to play against. And I absolutely hate that fact alone. We are the easiest team to play against in the Premier League. There you go. I've said it.
It's a killer, isn't it? It's a killer. I feel sickened by that game today. I'm not gonna lie. Usually I try and come on this podcast, and we've been here after a loss before, and we try and look at the positives, and we try and take the game as it is and analyze it, break it down, highlight what's good, highlight what's bad, and we try not to be reactionary. We try to be real with it, and we try not to make it blown out of proportion, shall I say. We just look at the game and we look at the circumstances around the game, and we give that analysis. But I've got to be honest, I feel like today sums up so much, and a lot of people that have been criticizing this team and this club and the people within it probably have some very, very valid points today. And I'm sure people in the chat, they come from all over, but if you're a Liverpool fan, worrying times, very, very worrying times. And as you say, one of them, we've gone from being the hardest team to play and a team that everybody was frightened of, a team that rivals looked at and thought, damn, we should really be doing just as well as them, if not better, all things considered. And the fall off is pretty big. We said the other night that you're never too far away from being back up there, but it doesn't feel like it at the minute. And this is tough times, I've got to be honest.
Yeah, it is tough times. It is tough times. Jamie's actually saying ditch the hat, Grizz. That wasn't war, it was pest control. I really love this comment. That's why I brought it up. Even though he may be not a Liverpool fan, maybe he's taking the piss, or maybe he's serious, or whatever it is. I love the comment, Jamie. Really, that's really perfect for today. I guess the only way to start is I'm driving up, I'm seeing the team, and I told you in the group, and I told my mates who I was with, and I said, yeah, we're gonna get beat today. I'm not a negative nanny. I don't go out with the mindset that we're gonna lose. I always think we're gonna do all right. I try to be positive, but Cav, Brentford, me, you, nearly 1,000 people in the chat. I'm pretty certain 1,000 plus us two, over 1,000 people in there will know how Brentford play and how they were going to play and what they were going to try to do to us. Everyone saw it, it seems, except Jurgen Klopp and his coaching staff. So was it some arrogance that no, we're still going to play our game and how we're trying to evolve this team into, and we're going to get onto that? Or what was it? I don't seem to think. I can't think of what else it could be. It was sheer arrogance, sheer stupidity, or has he lost his marbles completely? Because, as I've said, everyone to a man, woman, cat, dog, tortoise, microwave, fridge, everything, everyone, right, on this planet knew what Brentford were going to try to do. Yet we didn't do anything in terms of team selection to do anything about it. I tweeted something very, very simple. Very simple. Do you know what I said, Cav? I said, at LFC, pick a tall team. And then what did we do?
We picked Harvey Elliott. That's what we did. You're dead right, Grizz, and you highlight the point that us, the 1,000 people that are in the chat, people that watch Liverpool or Brentford or the Premier League, doesn't matter which, you could have predicted this, and that is the saddest thing about it. Not saying it's preventable, but we knew what we were getting today. We knew what Brentford what threat they was going to pose to us. We knew what players were available and what form we're in, and this and that, and what we could all have come up with numerous ways in which we could have got a result today, and none of that was done by what we've seen today by the manager and the coaching team and the players. It's sad to see, and we spoke yesterday on the RedFellas about signings, and we spoke about what the future holds and what we can do to improve. And one of the things I highlighted was, yes, we need signings, we need fresh legs, but there's also half the story that I think we're skimming over, and that's the fact that this season, most match days we go into, yes, we have injuries, but we have a team good enough to win games. We have a team good enough to beat Forest, to beat Leeds, to beat Fulham. And quite simply, we have rocked up with a poor attitude, application, and the tactics have not been good enough. And I don't know what to put that down to, but it's as if we're watching this league and we're watching Brentford, and then you've got Klopp and the coaching teams analysing Brentford, watching probably their past 2 or 3 games, and still go into it with them.
That's the worst part, Cav. That is the worst part. Everything that you've said there, and I couldn't have put it better, because they watched that. Everything. Look, we're going to go through some comments. Channel member Ahmed says, big up Grizz and Cav. Feel for Grizz and all the LFC there to witness this drubbing. Our worst fears being realised. Looking for therapy now. Likes on your way, people. Guys, just a couple of things before we get into it. Of course, there's many of you that have come in to banter us and troll us and joke with us. Absolutely fine. Because when you have to give it, you have to take it. And everyone knows the platforms that I come on, that I'm privileged and honored to be on. It's a bit of a banter show. I take the mic and I get the mic taken back off. But what I won't tolerate is any abuse, any racist abuse, any xenophobic abuse, anything of that. And if it's constant abuse, I will ask the mods to block you. But mods, do not block anyone. Everyone's allowed to take the piss out of us. Man United fans, Chelsea fans, whoever you are, whoever you support, you're allowed to take the piss. This is what it's about. This is what football tribalism is about. And it should be fun. It should be entertaining. But from both sides, keep it respectful as much as you can. Like, lose your respect in trolling us and cussing the shit out of us. But, no abuse and nothing like that. So mods, only abuse, racist abuse, xenophobic, anything of that. So personal abuse, that's only to be blocked. Nothing else. A couple of super chats, Kev, if you don't mind, 2 seconds. Hilton, come on, you Gunners, says, watch the game and the interviews after. And I'm sorry, but Klopp is delusional, and that's Liverpool's problem. Big up the show. Yeah, we're going to talk about his interview. We're going to bring up his quotes. We're going to talk about that, Hilton, very much. Natraj, football is a humbler, but apparently nothing stops Liverpool from conceding the first goal and then almost always failing to make a comeback. I don't get that. What does he mean by that, do you think? But nothing stops Liverpool from conceding. Is he praising us or is he cussing us? I don't know. It's a bit of both. I'm a bit confused. But Natraj, big up yourself. Thank you for your support. Of course, Natraj is a Man United fan who comes in the call-in show and has a good laugh with us. Zayn Miassi. Of course, Zayn Miassi is going to come into my chat. Of course, Zayn, you're going to come in. Grizz, even Nketiah is better than Nunes. I have to keep quiet and keep it moving, Zayn. What can I say? Shabazz Javid says, Grizz, this is my therapy for tonight. I'm so drained. My friend, I have a cup of tea. I have Cav, who I absolutely love talking football with on and off screen. And I've got 1,300 of you in here. What more can we have or want after a drubbing like that? Amir says, Brentford have beaten Man City and Man United by no excuses. Shambolic performance. Klopp, stubborn loyalty. Need a team refresh ASAP, or we are out of the top 4/6. Bejitic Gandahar says, to start at least, he'll bring the energy. Yeah, we'll talk about that as well because we said this. Yo, what's good, bro? Klopp making the same mistakes over and over. I don't understand why Klopp's playing all his 10s and 8s. It's actually dumb. He stinks tactically. Damn says, hopefully the new owners sack him. Mate, don't know what to say. Bring in the new owners and then take it from there. Code Command says, what does everyone expect when we are still experimenting with Curtis Jones 4 years later and other teenagers? It's harsh to talk about Curtis Jones today when there was 9, 10 possibly stinky players out there. Let's not talk about Curtis Jones today. HK Music, big up yourself. He says, thank you for hijacking Nunes. Laugh my ass off. I think we still have the last laugh with that. But listen, tonight's a night to cry for on our part and not laugh. Simply not good enough, Jackson says. Simply not good enough tonight. No midfield investment and we won't make top 4. Klopp has to be more ruthless with players moving on. Hope you've started anything that I've missed out, Cav. Super chats if I've missed out on any. No, that's good. Yeah, so we start from the start, bro. That lineup was not good enough. It was not tactically strong enough, not mentally strong enough. It was not physically strong enough. And the worst part of it was, it's no hindsight, bro. I'm sorry, it's no hindsight. I said it before. We said it before. We spoke about it. You pick your most physical, your most physically, whatever you got at your disposal. If it means play Nat Phillips, Joe Gomez, Joe Matip, if it means play 3 centre-backs, if it means go matching up with them, you go match up with them. Cav, I used to be proud of Liverpool because we used to be able to row with you when we could. We used to fight you when you wanted to fight with us. We'd bully you if you tried to bully us. And then we'd tire the crap out of you and then we'd outball you. There is absolute no sign of that now, Cav. Right now, Cav, we aren't physically up to playing. I'm not joking. Probably a lot of teams in the championship. Because if they put it up to us, I'm telling you now, we'd struggle. Wow.
Yeah, that is generally where we're at. I mean, you're watching the games at this moment in time, and I know we lost today, but we'd had, 3 or 4 previous wins, but we're not played well. And you're looking at a game like today, and there's so many things in there that you've seen already this season. It's not a one-off. It's not a one-off this game. Result aside, look at performance. That's happened already this season. And they're not solving problems. They're not putting things right. We're not seeing a change. We're not seeing a response. And I get it. We were once the best team in Europe and we played a certain way and it was Klopp's way and there was no plan B. We do what we do and we were the best at it. And
because we were the best at it.
We could stick a fight to anybody. We had pace, we had power, and we worked harder than everybody else. And our attitude above anything was better than anyone's that stepped on the pitch. And that's why you feared us. It wasn't because we were tactically the best. It wasn't because we even had the best team necessarily, because we played teams that are equally as good as us. We beat them with desire and heart and fight. And you watch a performance today and none of that. I'm watching the game and I'm actually sat there thinking, I've rarely sat and watched a game where I feel like I'm upset because they've not given me anything back. I feel privileged to watch Liverpool and I enjoy it and I support them. But on occasion, I sit there and I think, why do I do this? Why do I sit there and watch this team and support this team when they are literally wandering around on a football pitch and not fighting for us? Look at the amount of fans that will be watching that game today. It's unacceptable to not even put in any work, not even to put in any fight. I can excuse bad days at the office. I can excuse bad performances. I can't excuse bad attitude. I can't excuse you just looking as if you don't want to win. And that's the saddest part about it.
I'm gonna go. Yeah, it's always a tricky one. Hi Conray, welcome.
Hi Conray,
welcome, my friend.
All right, guys. I thought I'd jump in. I had a bit of time, so I thought I'd join you.
No, you're very welcome, sir. You're very welcome. This is what friends are for. This is what friends and family are for. Friends and family, mate. This is what it is. Guys, there's close to 1,500 of you in here. If you could just smash a like for each one of our tiers, multiplied by 100, that'd be amazing. Like, at least likes for tiers, that works, right? Conroy, we've spoken about, I don't know if you've seen it on your way in. I just spoke about sort of from the hardest team, the nastiest team, the most difficult. Like you wake up and you like, who are we playing tomorrow? Liverpool. Oh shit, we're playing Liverpool. Your goalkeeper stressed. Your defenders are stressed. Not Salah, Mane, Firmino, Diaz, Jota. What's gonna happen? Your midfield, Gini, Fabinho. We're gonna get run ragged. Henderson in his prime, and then once we get past all of that, we got Virgil in his prime. Khanage, or not Khanage, Matip, Joe Gomez in his prime, and then we have to beat Alisson. We were the nastiest, most difficult, most horrible team to play against. I'd made a statement, Cav at the start, to say from there, in a matter of, obviously gradually, but over the last 12 months, culminating in today, as we are today, in my humble opinion, football's a humbler, so I might be wrong, but in my humble opinion, we are the easiest team to play in the Premier League right now.
No, I think, yeah, easily, to be honest. I know Evan said that a few times as well. I think the thing for me is it's not a surprise. Like, it isn't a surprise today, to be honest. I feel like the last couple of wins papering over the cracks. What I would say though, Grizz, is other teams will adapt. We just seem like it, even when we adapt, we don't fully do it, because it's like when the players are there, we go back to the 4-3-3, or we try to do pressing or play a pressing style, even though we've not got the legs to do that. So we're just getting ran through so easily. I mean, it's 50-50 each game, because you're just hoping that on the transition we either don't concede. And today, look, we've not conceded a set piece all season, and today even that part of our game looked all over the place. I mean, it is at the point now, Grizz, where it's like, I was not going to come in tonight because I had a few things on for a bit of time, and I wanted to jump on because I think like there's something about Liverpool where it's like the good things, there's so many good things, but also see the bad things. We seem to just do stuff that's not even possible. It's like, name how many teams get away with 2 VAR goals just through luck, and like it's a correct decision, but it's not through great play by us, and then we concede seconds later. Like that's got to be groundbreaking for teams to collapse like that, to capitulate. And I just feel that I don't know if it's like we have so much focus on intensity, this is how we do it, and sometimes just the basics of football we can't just implement that. And I don't know, to me, guys, I think today the writing was already on the wall, but I think we can all agree that today it's like there's no chance we're getting top four if we don't get some players in, like, because the team's not going to adapt. We're not going to say we'll play a 4-5-1 and counter attack. We're going to still try and play the way we want to play.
I just want to hold you onto that point. I agree with you. I want to discuss that with Cav as well. Just a few super chats. I'm going to try and get through them as quick as I can. Yo, what's good says loyalty. Klopp brings on Curtis Jones, who's been injured for time while Carvalho was right there. Ox was our best attacker, but take him off for Jones. Wild decisions, mate. Big up Grizz. What a mad season for you, bro. Just shout big up yourself, my friend. It's actually a wild season for everyone. But yeah, right tonight, it's Liverpool's wild night. Ryan McNicholas says, Pep and Klopp need to take more accountability. Elliot and Costas, let me not speak. Same story. No control midfield and resorting to spamming crosses. Couldn't agree more. Elliot and Costas shouldn't have played. Absolutely shouldn't have played. And I'll get onto it straight away. Love from the Big Six show. Mr. Bengal Tiger says, appreciate the support. He says, but remember when Gary Neville and a few other pundits played down all these teams, AFC beat, ain't easy. Keep speaking facts, Chris. Look, it's never facts. It's always opinion, my bro. But thank you. Appreciate the love. It's just my opinion. It's always an opinion. It's never facts. KD says, team being let down by lack of investment for their success, screaming for depth, and FSG have just sat back and let them run themselves into the ground. Spot on. I wish Alisson would just yell at the defense, man. I wish Who I wish we all yelled at the defense. There's no point yelling at the defense if they're not capable of doing it. I just don't think they're capable of doing anything, lads. Cav. I think this team, and I've said it in the past, Gandahar says 19-20, 27 played, 26-1 draw. Those times were the best. They were indeed. They were indeed. This is why I said, at those times, this is why I used to say, cherish those times, enjoy those times, stop moaning, and still there was people still moaning in those times. Enjoy it, because these moments don't last. We look a miles away from those glory moments where we won 27 games in a row or something like that. Mad times. Football's a humbler. What goes up must come down. And we're coming down at an alarming rate right now, and we need to hold it and stop it. But I genuinely believe, and I've said this a few weeks ago, and I said it actually in about after game week 5, after I've analysed it, because you always go into a season with new hope. Guys, just to start, and if you get, you always go into a season with hope, because that's what we are. We're football fans. We're fickle. Which self-fan base isn't fickle? Every club has highs and lows, and then you start believing again, and you want to support your team. So you wait to give your team a chance to do something in the league. But I said it. I was on 90 minutes. I was on 90 minutes after game week 5, and I said to guys, and they said, "Oh, hold on. We need to focus on Grizz. I can know the camera's going Grizz." And I knew it was going to be like clipped up and everything. I said, this is the end of the cycle for this Liverpool team or that Liverpool team. And they said, "Are you officially writing off your title chances in game week 5?" And I said, "I'm officially writing off our game week chances. I think this will be a struggle. This is the end of the cycle." Cav, we're not physically up to it. I'm afraid. I'm sorry. We're not up for it. This team. And do you remember, guys, I said a few weeks ago, I said, Fabinho, we've seen the best of. Salah, on the verge of seeing the best of. Van Dijk, I said as well. And everyone was like, "Are you seriously naming all these players?" Of course, Henderson. Of course, Milner. Sadio Mane's gone. Gini Wijnaldum's gone. Bobby Firmino, we've definitely seen the best of. I actually named Fabinho, Van Dijk as well in that category. I don't know if you agreed then. I don't know if you want to reassess now.
I am with you. One thing I would say is that I believe that some of our so-called big name players have probably
mentioned them. Say them.
I do think that Salah, I think that Virgil, I think that Fabinho, I think probably Thiago is on the wrong side of their peak. I think, people like to use the word decline. I think they probably are. And I'll go one step further, Grizz. I don't think Liverpool are going to get back to the level they were at to compete with league titles anytime soon. I'm going to be completely honest. You say it's an end of a cycle, and I agree. I think for Liverpool to get back to where they were, we're going to need multiple transfer windows. People are looking at like this January to maybe get a midfielder in, maybe 2, and maybe get top 4, and then we go again next season. But I don't see how. Because at this moment in time, if you look at that lineup today and you look at the lineup that played these teams that we should be beating, people like to call them the green tick teams, the teams that are guaranteed wins in a league season. We do that with these big name players, and they don't perform. So unless we're going to change them, what's going to happen? And this is why I addressed the point. I think we do need signings, but quite frankly, we need better tactics. We need a better application to the game. We need better patterns of play. We need to be more compact on the pitch. We need to win aerial duels and duels on the ground. We need to win second balls. We need to want to run at someone and commit someone.
Can't. How are you expecting Elliot, Tsimikas, who else? Thiago wins his fair share to win aerial duels? Every single fucker in that Brentford team, I think, apart from their left back, is probably 6 foot or minimum 5, 10, 11. Every single one. Only Rico Henry. Cav, you're spot on. It's not about signings. It's about tactics. And tactically, it's not only about on the pitch. You can tactically plan off the pitch. How did we go into that game? And Conroy, you can step in if you want. It's so simple. Brentford's game plan. Go on.
I don't think we do that, Grizz. I genuinely believe, right? I think there's a bit of snobbery when it comes to that for us. I feel like there is
someone said that in the opening super chat, something.
There 100% is. Now, you can say what you want about Guardiola, right? He overthinks things. But there's one thing you can't say is even this season, he will adapt against the teams who've caused him problems. I've said this, so if people in the channel all the time, I'm maybe repeating myself, West Ham away last season caused Guardiola, drew 2-2. I think the one year when they came back caused them lots of problems on the counter attack. So this season he changed the kind of position of where his fullbacks were to counteract that, and they won, I think, convincingly. Right? I honestly think this is the best example. Brentford last season had so many problems. I don't think we've changed one thing going into this game. I think
agree with you.
We're too good. That is lies. Football doesn't work like that anymore. You need to be tactically astute against teams. And again, it's just like we've actually done one better. We've done worse this year. We've actually we've seen it. And it's like, yeah, it really, really annoys me because I just think today, I'm sure there's probably is some tactics, right? But to me, I think we go into game, no, this is where we play. And I just think when you've got the best coach in the world or up there with Pep, who looks to adapt that, and so many others do, I just feel like we don't do that enough. And this thing about, Brentford, they need to work on their set pieces more. That's absolutely, I was going to swear there. That's ridiculous.
No, swear. I need you to swear. When Conroy swears, shit's real. So Conroy, you're allowed to swear today.
We just got a set piece coach, right? So at this, I'm not understanding. I think there's too much snobbery when it comes to this. Like literally, you should be just as good as any Premier League team because one, you've got more resources, so you should have someone whose job is to do it with those players. I find it baffling. And to even top that off, our probably shining light, who had a good World Cup, Khanage, had an absolute disaster for both the goals today as well. And it's just like that. It seems like it's seeping through to the other players as well. It's just, I think it's honestly, but based on the tactics, I think there's a lot of snobbery from us. Cav, just because I know Cav's going to speak to now. Cav, I got to have that point about the patterns of play, mate. It's literally, I've been saying all season, Trent's amazing, but we cannot keep relying on a 20-year-old to be our only, give it to him and see what he does because he's got that in his locker. Now, don't get me wrong, there is parts where we try to keep the ball and either maybe Robertson crosses or we try it, but realistically, I don't see much patterns of play. The only time I see us being really quite cutthroat is because a team's going to be giving us space and you can exploit it. I don't think we break teams down very well, to be honest. I don't think you look at, we've done it in the training park and then we go in the game today. That was one of my main questions, mate. So I just wanted to give that to you, Cav, because that was one of my questions. What are patterns of play?
Just two things. If this is the real Matisse, message me. I thought I've already modded you. If not, message me so I know it's you. Because there's loads of fake accounts, please. So just message me if it's you and I'll mod you up so you can officially take the piss as opposed to just, me ignore you because I think you're a troll. Just a couple of super chats. I want to quickly get through them. H. Singh says, last time I wasn't sure about Klopp when Spurs battered us 4-1. Klopp got VVD and the rest is history. We need a game changer signing now. I think Klopp has peaked, to be honest. We are in the mud. I absolutely agree, H. Singh. We need the new evolution, Virgil's. We need the new Virgil evolution of Alisson. I don't mean Alisson. We don't need a keeper. What I mean is a game changer. And Mohamed Salah and Fabinho's, those four, right down the spine of our team. 4 signings we need. 4 first teamers that will evolve and be game changers on that level. That's what I meant. I don't mean Alisson before people say I've written off Alisson. Absolutely not. I love Elliot, 23. Star anything I miss here, guys. Putting him in midfield while we need to prioritize defense is a joke. Elliot going back is like ghost on pitch. Need defensive midfielder, mate. We're going to get onto that. Top 4 hopes. Mohamed Taker says only looking at City on the table. Oh, he's taking a mick at me because I was like looking at City. I'm still looking at Man City. Don't worry about me, guys. I'm still looking at City. Long season. Dan Watson says, United fan here, but Grizz, I'm an honest football man. I feel no Champions League football for Liverpool this season could be very bad for the next few seasons. Of course it could. You're absolutely right, my friend. There's no getting away from it. When a team and caliber and the way we're structured, the way we work, if we're out with that Champions League for one season, I think we're very well ran off the pitch, so we wouldn't be problematic for us. But I know what you mean, mate. I know what you mean. Ryan says, we didn't know they would attack all second balls. Shake my head. Exactly what Conroy is saying as well. What do we do in Dubai? Klopp has one style. I can't keep up with the chat. I can't keep up with the chat. So I'm going to say to you, yeah. Guys, if we're not on 1,000 likes, you lot are doing this wrong, man. And I'm doing this wrong as well, man. Like, you lot already know I just come back from Brentford. It's been cold. It's been wet. I made sure I come back for you to see my face. I didn't go anywhere. I'm here. You lot said, don't go anywhere. I got messages, don't go anywhere. And I didn't. I come back and I'm facing the music. I could have just easily sat home, put on a series, watch, I don't know, start watching, I don't know, anything. start a new series. It's one of those times.
The traitors are very good, Grizz. The traitors.
The Liverpool right now are the traitors, Conroy.
Yes, I know, mate.
My team, my coach are traitors at the moment. But, Cav, we start with the tactics. Brentford, I could tell you, I'm no tactical, but I could tell you they were going to bombard us at the far post, both fullbacks, Trent, Robertson or Tsimikas. What does he do? If Robertson's available and played the way he played in the second 45 minutes, it means he's fit to start. It means he was able. He brings in a shorter fullback who hates playing against long ball, whose game's not about physicality. He's good on the ball and everything, but he's not about that life. Khanage, okay, no problem. That made sense. We all clamored for Khanage. Henderson, apparently his concussion, he brings in Elliott. I'm not going to say anything on Elliott from a personal point of view because Elliott doesn't pick himself. Elliott has never said, I'm a midfielder in a Jurgen Klopp team 2023 now as it is. Elliott, since childhood, has been playing in attack, wide left, wide right, whatever. Klopp has decided to convert him into an 8, into one of his most complex midfields, an efficient midfield that we've seen, most hardworking pressing midfield. He's put a kid in there along with Tsimikas and said, go. And Oxlade-Chamberlain, another, a short guy, but okay, no problem. We had no options. Maybe we did, or maybe we didn't. No change of formation, as Conroy says, arrogance, no change of formation because they've bombarded other teams. We're not the only team they've taken the scalp off. Yep. Brentford are a good team, and we know their game. If we're not confident in the way we're going to play, and we haven't got our Diaz, Jota, we haven't got a full attack, humble yourselves, Liverpool, humble yourselves, Jurgen Klopp, and play according to the lineup. We've done the total opposite, Cav. I'm not scapegoating Elliott. I'm scapegoating Jurgen Klopp.
Well, there's no scapegoat for Jurgen Klopp for me, to be totally honest. And look, before guys overreact with this, of course, I love the manager, everything he's done for us, and I want him to be here. I think he's the right man for the job. But I said last night, he needs to be better. You've got to do better. Like, we went away and had a mid-season break. Granted, some of the stars were at the World Cup. What did we do? What did we do? We come back and he told us that he worked on us being more compact as a team. Where's the evidence of that? I'm not being funny. We played an injury hit Leicester side. We've played a Villa side that are under a new manager. And we've played Brentford. Like, show me some evidence that you worked on.
What's changed? What's different? What we worked on? Have we worked on solidifying our formation? Have we worked on flexible tactics? Because guess what? After all the tactics that we've been trying during the season, lads, check this out. After all the different tactics and different permutations and different styles, guess what? We reverted back to 4-3-3. But guess what? We haven't got the players to play 4-3-3. We're playing Ox wide left in a 4-3-3. We're playing Elliott as an 8 alongside Thiago, who's already not about the legs. And okay, he does his bit, but he's just caught on the wrong side of the ball too many times. And we're playing Tsimikas at left back, another shot. We're playing the wrong tactics, the wrong lineup against the wrong fucking team. This team was not interested in football today. And I rate them for it. I'm not cussing people. Before people start saying, oh, excuses FC. No! I'm praising their manager. I'm praising their style. They knew what they needed to do. And guess what they needed to do? They needed to turn up, fist pump each other, motivate each other. Let's go and bully these little so-and-sos. That's all they had to do, As soon as the fullbacks get it, lump it up, play for touchline corners, set pieces, throw-ins. As soon as, it's like rugby. When you play for touch, you play for touch. As soon as you're in corners and territories, we're going to bombard these. Bombard them with long ball. Every throw-in, every long ball, every long throw-in and corner was like a penalty. It was like a penalty at the ground. You asked me, Cav, what it was like. It was like a penalty. Tell me what tactics those are. Tell me where's the flexibility. Because after all the changes, you've gone to 4-3-3 with the smallest team you could probably picked against the tallest team, the most physical team, not interested in your 3 midfield. Fuck your midfield. They didn't give a shit about our midfield. It could have been anyone. They said, we're going to bypass your midfield. We're only interested in far post. And guess what? Sorry, one last thing, because someone said you're talking too much. It's my channel, you prick. Of course I'm going to talk too much.
You're not talking too much. Keep going.
But check this out. Someone goes, oh, Grizz talks too much. It's my channel.
You don't talk too much.
Yeah, exactly. No, but I do. But I need to get off my chest, because what's the point otherwise? Every set piece. Do you know what they done at corner set pieces? And we were not. We were done. We were dead. You know, we were dead. Virgil van Dijk and Konate were doing. You know, we do the what's it called when you mark areas?
Zonal marking.
We were zonal marking. So what they were doing, every set piece corner, whatever, Brentford would put everyone in the box. Every single one was in the box. I don't know if you lot saw it. Yeah. And then they had this routine where 2-3 would drop off to confuse our centre backs. And guess what? 3 of their biggest lumps, 6'7", each one of them, 6'10", 7 foot machines, all of them, they were pulling off on our fullbacks and our shortest players. And we were left bamboozled. We didn't have a clue what to do.
Yep. And between
this is 2023 Liverpool. I've been praising these fuckers. Jurgen Klopp tactics. We've been a masterpiece for the last 3-4 years. Haven't got the trophies, not all the trophies to show for it. We should have deserved more. But now we're a joke. I used to talk about Arsenal being the easiest team to play against. I used to talk about Man United a couple of seasons ago. What an easy team to play against. You know what, guys? We are now the easiest team to play against. Hats off to Jurgen Klopp and this squad.
100%.
I'm having a break for 2 minutes. All yours, guys. 5 minutes each, 10 minutes each. Your goal.
No, I think Grizz 100%. But the thing is, though, the most annoying thing is you've seen this coming. It's like Arsene Wenger. The end with Arsene Wenger, I think, is the best analogy. I think Carragher actually referred that in the post match. He says you went from being like you can play, but your main attribute in midfield is athleticism, you know, very good at press, very press resistant, like a Gini Wijnaldum type. That was like what we were very good at because it allowed the rest of their team, wing backs and the front three to play. And it's like we've went from that to this, we're looking for more technical players there. And it's very much what Arsenal done. They went from the Invincibles towards the end, we're more technical. And then what he said is, but you can bully that midfield. And I know Grizz not saying necessarily today, but that there's a lot of kind of connotations from other teams and where we are now. And yeah, it's very frustrating. And I've got to be honest, it's like I'm not really understanding it. I think I spoke to someone before. I'm getting more baffled every game because it's like Klopp right now doesn't have the players to play Jurgen Klopp football. I don't know if that's set in yet, but I feel like maybe today will highlight that he can't.
I don't think it has, Conroy. I don't think it has.
That's mad, mate. And the thing that always gets me is there's snobbery in general, I think, in some fan bases. But if you looked at our team, there's so much pace on the counter that see a game like today or other days, maybe the way it's went, I'm going to say it, but you know, maybe you talk about being adaptable, Grizz. See today, why don't you try, you know, maybe a 4-5-1 or something like that, but something's going to make us secure and then hit them on the counter. So it's going to give Brentford the ball, and they're like, we don't have possession all the time. They are a decent team, don't get me wrong, but maybe just to change it up a bit. But it just seems that it's never happening in this team. It seems that we're going to play this way, even though we've not got the capabilities. You know, like that meme, you've not got the facilities for that, big man. That is like us right now. We don't have the facilities.
We don't have the facilities, Premier League.
Premier
League, we don't have the facilities to Premier League to play this 4-3. Come and bully us. It's a free hit now. You know, as I said to you, Cav, Conroy, you missed it. I used to imagine other teams and opposition, and I used to phone my Man United boys, my Matisses and Saeeds and all these brothers. I used to phone them and say,
Matisse, he's kind of helping us out in the chat right now.
No, because he's going through turmoil as well. So big up Matisse every time because he knows what it's about. Long season, I said to him, and it's long season for me as well. Me and Matisse, long season. Yeah, 100%. But you know what? We were nasty to play against. Right now, all these teams are looking at their itinerary, looking at the fixtures list when we got Liverpool. They're calling each other. My WhatsApp group is popping off. They're all calling it when we got Liverpool. Steve's calling Huey when we got Liverpool. Huey's calling Turkish. Yo, when we got Liverpool. Saeed, Man United. They're saying, yo, when we got Liverpool next. Everyone's looking to play Liverpool right now. Everyone's looking to play. Your life is good, brother. Life is good for you. Yeah, they're trying to ring me out full time and shit as if I'm going to answer their call.
That's going to continue as well, Grizz. Today is just going to be worse because, like, maybe Van Dijk probably is an injury, but again, we'll have a go at Van Dijk, but I think someone made a good point. There's no protection for Van. I'm not saying he's not playing great, but I'm saying there is zero protection for him as well. So that's going to continue to happen. I feel like teams are going to be, we speak about Man United, and I know Saeed's in the chat there, and I'm not just saying it because he's there, but we spoke about when they had the rough patch, like Brighton at the start of the season, Brentford, teams weren't scared of United. There's zero fear factor with Liverpool right now. And the next game in the Premier League is it away to Brighton or is it at home? I'm fearful again, by the way, right now, because they're playing good football and they're already good against us when we're playing well. So that could be another humble.
I ain't looking forward to football. What do you mean? I ain't looking forward to football. I really enjoyed the World Cup. When's the World Cup next? Like, you know,
3.5
like
years. 3.5 years.
you know, Infantino saying every 2 years, brother, bring it every 2 weeks, man.
Yeah.
Bring the World Cup every 2 weeks. I'm ready for World Cup every 2 weeks. I'm at that stage now. Bring back the World Cup. Because you're right, Cav. When we started off the show, no tactics, no game plan, and what have we learned? That's the worst part of it. And Conroy's spot on. I haven't heard Jamie Carragher or all the pundits what they've been saying.
It was really good.
I was just, you know me, I was just kicking back in my mate's car, and I didn't speak to him. I didn't even give him petrol money.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Hello, Doug. Yeah,
it's a silent ride home. It's one of them ones.
No, I bought him some lovely chicken chips. Shout out Cluck on what road it was. It's called Cluck. What a wicked name for a chicken shop, by the way. Yeah, that's a sick name.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, Cluck. Shout out Cluck. They looked after us real nice. One of the guys recognized me, says, "Yo, Grizz, yeah, you got humbled today." I said, "Yeah, no problem." So he, you know, what I mean, he looked after me nice. He still charged me, but he looked after me nice.
Yeah, did you not say this is on the house?
Yeah, I bought my friend food, but I didn't give him no petrol money. I didn't buy him no drink. We didn't stop at a service station. I just sat back and came home. So I don't know what the pundits have been saying, but if Carragher's been saying that, he's nailed it. This is not looking like a Klopp team, Cav. Me, you, Conroy, and 2,000 people in the chat can see that. Does Elliot look like a Liverpool midfielder, Klopp midfielder? Does Tsimikas look like a snarling fullback who's ready to defend first, put his body on the line? Does anyone resemble a Liverpool player right now? And do they know what they're doing? Because Brentford knew exactly what they're doing. You know, you asked me what was the crowd like? Very quickly, the crowd were not vibrant. The crowd were not, it wasn't a raucous atmosphere. They were calculated. They knew, bring Liverpool on the pitch, let them wave to their fans. Virgil van Dijk's going to jump in the air and do it all that and head the ball like, yeah, we mean business. And then we're going to give them the ball. We're going to let them have the ball and pass sideways. Thiago's going to do that. Yeah. You know, Nunes is going to make a couple of runs here and there. And I don't want to talk about incidents per se. And you know what? They had no interest in having the ball, even at home. He didn't give a shit. He had no pride, no ego. He had professionalism and he had a plan. And it worked to a treat.
Yeah, and look, I echo that. I look at the players in these games, and especially today, and I feel sorry for them because I look at them and they're like, they have no idea what to do. Like, they have the ball and they look at a Brentford team in front of them and they're like, I don't know what to do. I don't know whether to run at someone. I don't know whether to, what they usually do is pass it sideways and waste time. And you give it to someone like Salah thinking, oh, Salah's going to do something. And then he does nothing. He just goes back again. And then it comes to Trent and he's the only one that's like, you know what, screw it. I'm just going to hoof a ball in the box. And we just start spamming crosses. Like, the only guy in recent weeks that's actually shown up with a bit of fight and desire has been Nunes. And he's the guy that's been most criticised. And Steve said it yesterday on the RedFellas. He was like, we need to be very careful not to become a long ball team. And that's exactly what we have been. And you know what? I take it back even further. What would this team be if we didn't sign Diaz? I genuinely think that I don't know what they're training. I don't know what's being coached.
Even that, check this out, Cav. Even that was a result of another club's actions.
This is and I don't want to go back and make it bigger and bigger, but we have to, because there's been games even towards the end of last season where we're sitting here thinking this ain't great football. But Luis Diaz is like such a spark and he can make things out of nothing that then things kind of come off of that. That's not good enough. That's not good enough. You should, if you're the best manager in the world, coach the football team with patterns of play and a style and build up and compactness and everything. And if you have quality players, it adds to it. You do not rely on it. We are relying right now on Nunes to create chaos and a Trent bit of magic. There's 100%. Nothing else that we are actually doing as a team. I would hate to think what Jurgen Klopp would do if he was in charge of that Brentford team, because it seems to me like he's not a guy that assesses what he's got and tries to make something work. It's just like, this is my style, and if I got injuries, there's an excuse. And I tell you what, I can't sign all the players because I don't have all the money in the world, but when I do happen to have everybody back fit, then it will work. That's cool. Oh, what? That's going to happen, what? Over, 50% of a season? That ain't good enough. This is Liverpool Football Club. That should not be the standard. You have to react. You have to go in and win a game regardless of the cards you are dealt. And we talk about Brentford and the fact that they have a style and that they're big and they do these set pieces and they work on the set pieces. I'm sorry, I don't care. Liverpool should be that big, that strong, that good, and more. I don't like this where we look at the lesser teams and go, yeah, but they're good at this one particular thing. Yeah, they're good at one thing. What they've got a throw in and they've got corners. Liverpool should be good at throw-ins, corners, and everything
100%.
else.
It's an easy excuse. It's a lazy excuse.
It is. It is. It's not good enough. I'm like, the coaches and Klopp, they need to have a serious look at themselves. And it's not all on them. I totally get that. And we need freshening. And then the players themselves need to look at themselves. But at times, I just watch the game and I think, how can you be bad for 90 minutes? You just haven't got a clue. And at the minute, we don't even have an identity, which is even worse.
Identity, Conroy. It used to be our cliche, our motto, that intensity was our identity. But forget intensity. We have got no plan. Honestly, we have got no plan. We've replaced Firmino, who is the total opposite type of forward to Nunes. We've brought in Nunes, and then, I mean, look, I understand we've got injuries. I understand that Jota and Diaz are huge blows, and no Firmino as well. That's 3 out of your 5 attackers. So if we take out 3 out of Man United's attack, let's take out Rashford, Martial, and whoever, it affects them, right? Let's take out Chelsea. Well, Chelsea's attackers don't score anyway, so leave them out of it. But you get what I'm saying. Let's take out Haaland, Mahrez, and Foden out of. It affects everyone. I get that. So people need to recognize 3 out of the 5 attackers that we've got on our club's books are out at the moment. We've only got Nunes and Salah. Nunes doesn't know what side his arse is on at the moment. Yeah. He's making all the runs. He's our only threat, by the way. Salah's not a threat right now. And again, that's tactical. If you only got Nunes and Salah, bring them closer together. Why are you making them send postcards to each other? Make them neighbors. Get to know each other.
Say that other day, actually. No,
it's true, though, isn't it? Get to know each other. Move in next to me. We get to know each other. We see each other. We talk to each other. There's no, he has to send a pigeon to speak to each other. This is craziness. Ox was probably our best attacker today.
No, listen, I'm not going to give Ox criticism today. I actually think he actually, again, people want to hate him so much. It's so easy. But again, I feel like Guy didn't stop, scored the goal, kept going, tried to make things happen. I don't think you can. He was rightfully not taken off, I think, in this game. But Grizz, just on that point before, because it was a really good point you made, was, see, you're absolutely spot on about today, but I would add this. See, attacking wise, right? I feel like, see, just today in isolation, I could accept it. I can accept it today because there has been other games where we've created lots of chances with Nunes and Salah. I think, though, I get this, it's all in one today. It's very frustrating, but I feel like midfield and defensively, that's the one that's consistently having issues, though, Grizz. Because could you not argue that, let's say we had the midfield in place, or we were playing a structure that protected that, and we just had a game where we weren't at it attacking wise, but yet we were done okay in other games. I think you could get over that. But I think me and Kall spoke about this last night. It's been papering over cracks, and today's just the what is it when the straw that breaks the camel's back? Is that the phrase?
You got it. Yeah.
To me, that's what today is. It's that's that moment, and I just feel like it's crazy and it's baffling that we're still trying to play that way with the players. We've not got the tools. We don't have the tools to do that, so you have to adapt. But we don't want to adapt. We just very much are never going to adapt.
Why are we trying to fix bathrooms and showers if we haven't got none of the tools? Why are we trying to be plumbers when we've got toothbrushes?
Yeah, but Grizz, let me ask you this, right? Let's say Jota and Diaz were available. What would you see that's different? Tell me what we tried to do today that we couldn't
outscore teams.
But what would we have done today that wasn't possible because them players weren't there?
Cav, I tell you what could have been different. And this is what we've done last season. We tried to outgun them, Cav.
Yeah,
do you remember the 3-all? Yeah. We played the same, bro.
Yeah.
We played the same, but we had better attackers.
4-2-4, didn't we, second half?
Yeah. We had better attackers. And what we tried to do, we tried to outgun them. You scored 3, we scored 4. And we should have scored 5, 6. Mm-hmm. But the insanity of it is we went there with Ox, Elliott, Tsimikas, and Nunes this time.
Mm-hmm.
So last season, where we had someone in the chat, let me know what the lineup was, but I believe it was Salah, Jota, Curtis Jones and Diaz.
I think Jones came on, Grizz, because he scored when
No,
he
it
came
wasn't.
on.
It wasn't Diaz.
No,
Sorry.
he came off, didn't he? You're right. Sorry, he scored and he got substituted, didn't he? Yes, apologies. Yeah.
Yeah. So I can't remember, but we had far better attackers and a far more. The team was at a stage where we knew what we were doing. It was early in the season, actually. So it wasn't Diaz. I beg your pardon. It was Salah, Jota, and Mane, possibly. I can't remember. But the point being is we fought fire with fire, but we had fire and we should have won. We should have won 5-3 at Brentford last season. 100%. This week,
it wasn't like that.
It wasn't like that at all.
Wasn't like that.
They bullied us. They battered us with the most simple bully boy tactics you can ever see and imagine. They just bashed our head again and again. What are you going to do? And it was embarrassing how much physically imposing they were on us, lads.
Mm-hmm. But the thing is, though, Grizz, like the point I try and make, right, is that like you don't see any like they've worked on anything. So like if Nunes, we know what type of striker is. He's on the shoulder of the defense, right? So why at no point in the game are we moving the ball quickly around the defense and then Trent hitting a diag? You don't see it, right? We give him any kind of ball. When Diaz is on the pitch, it's like, just give it him and he'll make something happen. Why aren't we saying like, oh, Diaz ain't available, Joe ain't available? I'll tell you what we'll do. Ox, you come in field and I want to see Simi overlap. But there's no pattern. There's no pattern. You can't see something that never at any point in the game does a commentator go, that's what they're trying to do today. They've mixed it up there today and that they're trying to isolate him. They're trying to get across him. Or the ball's going up long to Nunes and he's just knocking them all down. They don't do anything because nothing's happening on the pitch.
Or you don't see what they're trying to do. See, that's what I think. It's like sometimes you can have a bad day and it's not coming off. But I feel like I've watched teams below us and I still see the idea they're trying to in certain patterns of play. And I've said this for a few times in other streams. I completely agree. And it worries me that we're still talking about this, because I think, as we said, it's been clearly highlighted that, okay, the 4-3-3 can work in certain games, like Spurs away playing Nunes on the left wing. Yes, that makes sense. They play a back three. You're trying to get in between the half spaces. I completely understand that in certain circumstances. But overall, in these games, we've been shown that a 4-3-3 has not been successful. We can give countless examples. And I think it goes back to your point, mate, that maybe this is not going to be a wake-up call, because I think Klopp's came out a few times and said we need to try something different.
It has to be Con. If this is not a wake-up call, I'll tell you what, here we go. If this is not a wake-up call, then I'm afraid it's possibly a death call.
I can't see anything happen like that, Grizz. I mean, I feel like there'll still be matches we'll win this way, but we'll stop. I think every 3-4 weeks we'll lose. Do you know what I mean? Do you get what I mean? But then, I don't know, guys. It's a hard one.
Grizz, look, I don't know what the percentages would be. I certainly want Klopp to be in charge, but the performance that we're getting out of Klopp at the minute, and you can blame injuries, you can blame players not performing and everything else, right? It always stops at the manager. We know this. This is football, and we can't look at it with our Liverpool bias and go, yeah, but Klopp's got so much credit in the bank and we can't look at it that way. We have to, because if it was any other team, we'd be looking at it going, there's no excuse. Like, you're the manager. The book does stop with you, rightly or wrongly. At what point, Grizz, and I'm just asking this because I feel like there might be people in the chat that are feeling this way, do we start to look at the Klopp situation?
There's no harm in questioning, mate. There's absolutely agree. You have to call a spade, whether it's through injuries, whether he hasn't had investment, whether FSG have backed him and all that. This is Jurgen Klopp, an elite manager that can walk into any club in world football. He has power. He has authority. FSG can't say shit to this guy. He is FSG's savior. We've won the league because of Jurgen Klopp. Jurgen Klopp's magic aided with the likes of Edwards and Kall. So they can't say shit to him. But in the same light, Cav, today has got nothing to do with FSG, mate. Today's got nothing to do with we didn't sign Casado on the first day of like yesterday, the first day of the window. Yeah. There's nothing to do with it. Today was a tactical and selection shamble, bro. And we can say that. We can be open and say that. It was a tactical disaster class from Klopp. And the worst part of it is a dumb YouTube host like me sitting in my conservatory with a stupid hat, having 2-piece chicken chips at halftime from a shop called Cluck, saw it nice and early and predicted it. Not predicted it, called it. I called it. I said, listen, I'm not being negative because I'm not about negative nanny life. But I'm telling you now, they're going to bully the shit. As Conroy said it. We said it. We spoke about it on the show. Listen, we got to get the selection right. I knew when I found out the team, this is why I tweeted, pick a tall team. That's not genius fucking tactical insight.
It's not rocket science. We sometimes overcomplicate football sometimes. Like, it is like, there's genius in football, but sometimes we talk about it like it is like winning a Pulitzer Prize. I can't remember the name of it, for like, groundbreaking. Sometimes it's not. There's complications in it, but really, what you said, Grizz, I agree with that. I feel like on that, see if we went in today and tried a different formation, it didn't work out. I think I could live with it. I think I'd be okay with it.
Agreed.
Sometimes that happens, but because it's just like copy and paste, I think that makes it even more frustrating.
We're gonna have to read from super chats, guys. We've got quite a few.
Okay.
Yeah, inundated with the support and love today, and it's obviously people want to get stuff off their chest and say it. And look, say it, bro. Say it.
Skullfuggery just said Shot King 11.
What did he say? Is he taking the piss even more? And I've modded him as well. Just keep an eye on the super chats, guys. I'm just on a different page. We do need a new game changer, and Klopp is hoping that's Jude. But will he even want to come to LFC in the state? Also, his dad is liking tweets from fans apologizing for others being so pushy. Well, that's social media for you, innit? Maybe be less pushy, but I agree with you. We do need a game changer. FSG better sell up soonish if this continues. It's continuing, and they're looking to sell up, and they will sell up. Dante Donegal says Darwin needs to mix it up, drop in and come short sometimes, and then also spin in behind. Drags defenders with him, more space for Salah. I'm telling you now, Darwin is doing his bits. It's unfortunate that we haven't found a formula, a way of playing him and getting the best out of him. Yes, of course, he needs to improve his finishing. Yes. Just like today, it will cost us sometimes. Like today, if he puts that chance in the first couple of minutes away, it changes the game. Robbo interview. Oh, that's a Conroy start, that one, I can tell. H. Singh says, club's a real mess if Nunes' story is true, gents. The story is... what's his first name? Mateus Nunes of Wolverhampton Wanderers. I knew we were in for him last season. If you go and check my Twitter, but we weren't prepared to pay 50 million for him. We were prepared to pay 25, 30 million. Today, reliable journalists Percy and I forgot the other, Sam Wallace, reliable journalists have come out and said we are revisiting that deal in summer. Very weird one. We'll discuss it on another show. We haven't got time to discuss that on the show today. What will Brian's midfield to do us next year? Mate, if we draw Macclesfield, I'll be worried right now. Masood says, after the last two performances, don't you think this was coming, Grizz? Yes, 100%. Carragher said this is an aging team coming to an end. Do you agree? That's exactly what I said in my opening rant, whatever you want to call it, bro. It's the end of the cycle. Yeah, whatever you want to call it. Suggestion from the Arabs of Bobby to Nasser. Yes, that's also true. They want Depay or Bobby for next season. Bobby Firmino is thinking about that move as well. I don't know what's going to happen, but it's 100% a true story. Pep Lijnders barely managed the season managing a Dutch team, and we're going to use his tactics. What is going on? Very, very fair question. So Sabula says Klopp wants to quick sim. Yeah.
Don't we all?
Zayn Miasi, Arsenal resident fan, is Arsenal of San Mudrik. Congratulations, bro. You know what I mean? Who do we want to win the title, guys? Arsenal or City? Quick.
I think it's as long as it's interesting.
Quick, I said.
Yes, I mean, as long as it's a race, I think that's interesting. As long as it's a race.
City, because much like when we win it, rivals have an excuse. When Liverpool win it, it's like, that should really be us. When City win it, it's like, because they've got loads of money, so it don't matter.
Diallo says, Nunes is not the problem, but also not the solution. That's one way of saying it. Did we make the wrong decision with Salah and Mane? No, because Mane wanted to leave. Salah didn't want to leave, so that's the way it goes sometimes. If someone doesn't want to stay there, you let them go. Tommy says, why do we obsess with the high line? With no midfielders to cover Jordan Robertson, it sounds like Klopp wants to defend higher when it goes wrong. Yeah, that's exactly what we said, tactics. Same tactics, different tools. It's mad. You're going to do a job which you haven't got the tools for. Why are you doing that job? Stay at home. You're better off. You don't look like an idiot. You don't look like an idiot.
And they've got pace as well, Grizz. It's not like they have got pace behind Mbeumo and Weezer. Like especially Mbeumo, they can definitely have pace. It's not like they're slow as a week in the jail up front. So
Shane McGee sends in a generous super chat. Says, down to FSG. We have no money yet, have record-breaking revenue year after year, and Klopp only playing one way with personnel that don't fit his model. We are shambles FC right now. We might get 7th. I wouldn't disagree with much of that. Yeah, I wouldn't. But Klopp is, trust me, I know FSG is easy target, and of course, ultimately they do sign the checks, but Klopp has got way more power than we think or he makes out. FSG will be here next summer probably too. No, they won't be. Pixelated Pigeon says, where do we finish in the Premier League if we do sign some 8s? And where do you think if we don't? I don't think we need 8s, Pixelated Pigeon, man. I genuinely think we need 2 number 6s. I've made my opinion on Fabinho very clear. That's what I'm going to say. I don't think we're going to see the best of Fabinho anymore. We've seen the best of Fabinho. It's only downhill for Fabinho. He may still be great, but he was world class. I don't even think he's great now. I think he's very good. Of course, Fabinho is not a shit player. I'm not saying that, but we've seen the best of Fabinho, and I'll stick by it. And if he proves me wrong, football's a humbler. We already know. Big Ash says, look how Arteta dealt with Brighton. 32% possession, whereas Arsenal usually have more of the ball. Klopp seems to refuse to change his style. Yeah, we've discussed that as well. Queen Nadra sends in a super chat, but I forgot to add it. So hopefully, if someone's got or hear her or hear his comment, then maybe bring it up, because sometimes people send in a super chat but can't attach the comment. Okay. But what was you going to say, Conray? Sorry, was you guys going to say something? Because I don't know where to start, guys, with the game. I don't even want to talk about the game, the incidences. Nunes misses that chance in the first half, and we start off relatively okay, but we just shit our pants every time there's a corner, and that's down to Klopp and the organisation of the team.
Yeah, I think just quickly, because I don't want to make it. It's not going to be too much on it. But I told you last week, Aston Villa game, and it's like there has to be a balance between the Nunes chat. But there's going to be games where you're only going to get 1 or 2 chances, and you have to take them. This is the difference between someone who's composed in these positions and someone who rounds the keeper and hits it straight at the defender. This is what I said about Nunes. It's like, I'm not having a go at him. I'm balanced about it. But these are the type of games, the example I'm talking about, where he has to improve within himself on that. He has to get better, because you're not going to have 4 chances a game. I think he's now leading the most missed chances. I can live with that, but you have to still improve. You have to go away from that and be like, there's going to be matches where you get that 1 chance and you need to score. And today, I think, is the perfect example of that. That's not good enough. As a top striker in this league, you can't be rounding the keeper and hit. The only way you miss that chance is hitting that defender. You can hit it either side and it's a goal, and you miss. So I just wanted to make that point. And I'm not hammering him, because I think, you know what, at least he's actually getting chances. Some of that's coming a lot from his own runs. So I'm not having a go at him. But this just refers to my point earlier last week, that that's why where he can get to, it can be very important for us.
Kev?
Yeah, I totally agree. And I'm just going to pick out another name, right? Highest paid player in the club's history. Yeah, I know the stats back up the fact that he's probably having a good season in terms of his return. But yet again, I feel like I'm watching a game where this guy is not stepping up. We all laughed at Aubameyang when he signed that new contract at Arsenal, and there's been other players as well, right? And I'm not saying that the guy's poor. I'm not saying we should bin him, and I'm not saying that he's not doing his job, because he is getting goals and assists. The stats prove that. But in a game where we were creating nothing, and he is the main man up top, and we call him world class and all of this, he did absolutely nothing yet again. And he's turning into a player, I believe, that is playing in moments of a game, right? But he waits for them moments. I need you to go out and make them moments happen. We talk about how Nunes should help Salah out by making runs and stuff, or maybe the guy as a senior figure, you know, one of the leaders in our core group of captains and a leader for his country, step up. You're a senior member of this team. You're the most experienced forward we have at the moment. Go and do something and make something happen. Maybe make a run that creates space for Nunes. What I can't excuse is you just standing out on the wing, waiting to receive the ball. And then when you get it, maybe look left, look right, and then give it back to Trent. It's not good enough. Like, we have big boys on big contracts at this club. They need to step up. Before we start criticising Nunes, who's a new signing, before we start criticising Harvey Elliott, who's a 19-year-old lad that's got a bright future but is guaranteed to have an inconsistent season. That's what you get with 19-year-olds. Maybe look at the senior figures in this club that went half of last season, if not longer, negotiating over a contract, and we all waffled on for an entire season about it. Finally got it in the summer, had this big announcement, right? Had to reduce the wage bill to make sure we kept him, all of this and that. Now step up. These are the games I need you to step up. I put you on this big contract, not me, obviously, but we put you on this big contract because we rely on you. The more money you want to get paid, the more you have to deliver. Another game's gone by and he's not done it.
100%. Salah was quiet today. Salah was poor today. Salah didn't show. Nunes still showed. Even Ox outshone Salah. But I could go through the whole team, lads. I genuinely could go through the whole team. Shaq, channel member Shaq as well. He says, football goes in cycles. Our high feels bittersweet. It does right now, bro. Mo is invisible when Elliot plays right centre midfield, in my opinion. That's a great shout, and we're going to do a proper in-depth look at that if that's the case. And we look at Salah's numbers since Elliot has been playing right centre midfield, and we try to break it down to the best we can. So that's a great super chat, actually. We look at that. Robbo rallying Shaq again. Robbo rallying the team in the dying minutes was heartbreaking. I don't know where to start.
The captain's armband, I felt like he had to do something. I felt like he seems to always get the armband where it's like bad moments, if you know what I mean. I think, what was it? First one was Man City, I think, second half. And then he may have got it. So I feel like he felt like he had to do something. I don't know. I feel like some of those players, I don't think they could believe what they were seeing. I mean, especially the Khanage goal. But yeah, I just wanted to add that. I feel like he, in that moment, I know they're never going to get back in the game, but maybe for the psychologically, just trying to make sure like they're all with each other. I don't know. Maybe that.
Yeah, I don't know. Trevor Lords, who's actually a Man United fan, so much respect. So we can have decent opposition fans in here looking to have a football chat and then and cuss the shit out of us. We need cussing. It's right. It's no problem. But respectful and even actually trying to grow the channel. So I really appreciate the mod from Man United people. And there you go. I don't just mod Liverpool fans in here. I mod everyone as long as they're respectful. Mods, don't, as I said, stop blocking people if just because you don't like what they're saying. It's absolutely fine. They can say what they want. As long as there's no personal abuse directed at any of my panel or me, well, I can take it actually, but if it's continuous, block them. Yeah, but no, absolutely no abuse allowed on my panel. And of course, anything racist, sexist, you know what I mean, anything like that, get them out of here. Exactly. This is why I said, let trolls be, man. Just remove kick racism, homophobic, xenophobic stuff. Simple as. Yeah, man. 1-0 down, and it was coming. I told you, every corner. By the way, guys, they scored, like, tell me about the disallowed ones. Like, were they legitimately disallowed, or were we lucky in that sense? Because, as I said, I didn't see it. They had the replay screens, but they weren't allowed. They had screens, but they weren't allowed to show replays.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'll just take this quickly if you want. Basically, they were both offsides, and like, it doesn't mean we still probably got away with it in the sense of, I think the first one with Weezer, the first one, I'm sure it's Pennock. Actually, if he heads it in, it's onside. It's because Ali saves it. He probably should score. So again, it's poor defending from a set piece. And the other one, Calf, what was the other one again? It was where Weezer managed to chest the ball down from a set piece. Chest the ball down. Let's just chest the ball down in that much space and then get a strike away, which is baffling. I mean,
by the way, they done all this shit. All this shit, yeah. I'm gonna bust a little cringy joke, but what were the odds on Ivan Toney missing this game and them still smashing our ass 3-1?
It could have been 6-1 if he was playing, to be honest, because he would have relished that. But yeah, no, it must have been quite high.
This was without their best striker in their history of probably the history of Brentford. Their main striker, their best striker, was not even playing, and they done this to us. Man called Wissa, I don't even know who was. He always turns up against us. He done us last.
He is a decent player, but I know what you're saying. He's just one of them. He turns up. But the second one, Grizz, was a shot, chests it, hits it on target. I think keeper's probably saving it, and it hits off. It might be going wide, sorry, and it hits off Ben Mee's knee, and he's offside. Both correct decisions, but again, it's not because of unbelievable. It's not like we've held the line amazingly. It's just luckily that they've not took advantage. But again, poor. You could probably analyse both of them tomorrow, Grizz, and look at the position, the set pieces. I mean, Weezer for the second one, he is literally, there's not a man around him, and he managed to chest the ball from a set piece. This is not like an amazing diag. It's from a set piece. So yeah, again, I feel like maybe Grizz is a point of we don't have players in the park who are willing to change in game. Maybe it's so like this is what you do. You've not got a voice to be like, you come over here, you help me. I feel like we've got a real lack of that as well in the team. I never see any players changing it, not the tactics, but You know, say like if Trent's getting absolutely
Yeah,
hammered,
come here.
you never see that anymore. I don't think you ever see that.
I don't know. We saw Virgil was trying to do it at times. Trent don't talk. Tsimikas don't talk. Konate don't talk. There was no Henderson. There was no Milner. Fabinho don't talk. Thiago tries. Yeah.
How can you be a midfielder and not talk? How can you be at the elite sport and be a central midfielder and not talk? I don't understand that. I don't know. Maybe it's a communication thing because obviously not expecting everybody to be fluent in the same language. But they talk a lot when the refs gave a foul away against them, but not during the game. But then listen, I'm maybe being a bit too overcritical, but I find that baffling. I don't know how you can get to a certain level and not communicate with players around you. But listen,
the own goal is unfortunate. Sorry, I guess, Cav, or is there any blame attached to it? Because we only get one look at it, but it looked like a packed penalty box with legs and everything and going everywhere, and it kind of just goes off him. Anything to blame there? Anyone to blame? Could he have sorted his feet out?
Yeah, you may be being a bit harsh on any given individual in that goal, and Ali does his best to try and get down there, but it ends up going right in the bottom right corner, so not much he could do about it. I think quite simply, you just got to be an aggressor, got to attack the ball. I know it's difficult because they're piling men in the box, but you're the defending team. You've got to make sure you're first to it, and if you're not first to it, anything can happen, and it's one of them. It just ricochets and goes in, so that was a bit of a unfortunate goal, I guess you'd say. I'm trying to think who kind of head it went over. I think it goes over Fabinho's head. It looks like he's just kind of making a half-assed attempt to sort of flick his head at it, and then it ends up coming off Khanage. I don't think he can adjust his legs quickly in time, to be honest, though. It's a bit harsh to say. He could have done much more, in my opinion. So, yeah, first goal, bad timing as well, because I felt like as bad as we were, the first 20 minutes, I kind of understood. I felt like we were on the ball. We were sort of controlling the game. And I was a bit concerned going there that the crowd would be really up for it and it would be hostile and they'll be honest from the first minute and really, try and bully us. But actually, we kind of kept possession. We didn't do anything with it, but we kept possession. I was like, okay, for 20 minutes, I'm cool with this because we got the ball. And then I'm like, let's go on and try. We have to go up some gears now and try and make something happen. And then the goal comes and it's like, damn. And then the next chance comes and then the next chance comes. And then before you know it, we're at 6s and 7s and you're like, this game is totally been thrown on its head now.
It was the halftime that we thought, look, normally we go into halftime and you tend to think, what are we going to do here? What's the battle plan? How are we going to change this? I looked at my bench. Klopp looked at his bench. Conroy, I didn't see anything that he could have done. Of course, the obvious one was if Robertson's slightly fit, Robertson changes the game or the mode of the game or the tempo of the game. And Naby Keita comes on and has his best 20 minutes, 30 minutes that I can remember in a long time. Who is the other? Virgil van Dijk goes off. It's reported that he had a little bit of a strain or something. Or do you think there was much more to it? Because it was... He could have made 6-7 changes as far as I was concerned.
Sorry, Cora, just to jump in, but just to add to the point, have you heard that Klopp said, and I've not seen this firsthand, I've just read it, that he said he felt his hamstring slightly, but it was more he felt the intensity of the game. And I'm reading that and I'm like, what do you mean by that? Felt the intensity of the game. He's either felt his hamstring and he's a bit worried about getting injured or he's injured. But don't tell me he felt the intensity of the game. You're telling me intensity is our identity. So what, now he's not meant to be feeling intensity? What's all that about?
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, during I know they said he had an ice pack, I think, on his hamstring like in second half. So maybe that's been out of context, Cav. Maybe it's been that he felt that his hamstring was about to go and he was like, go off now. And instead of, I don't know. We'll find out more tomorrow, I think. But yeah, again, that one, I don't listen. Klopp said a few things in the post-match that, to be honest, I completely downright disagree with. But I don't know how much we want to get into that. So
let's get into that now because we'll talk about. Look, there's no point going through the events. We get a goal back at 2-1 down, and we have a goal disallowed. Nunes with a tremendous finish, and of course it's offside.
Time the run better. Then you're fast as fuck. Time the run better. Like, it's not rocket science. Again, that's your game. This guy's £60 million. It's not like this is the facts. See that goal, Grizz? If he just slows down a bit, he's onside, and he still beats him over 10 yards, and that's annoying again. But we're not having a go at him. That'll improve. But he should have kept himself onside there. That's his own fault again. Needs to do better there.
You agree with that, Cav? Must do better there.
Yeah, 100%. Because if Darwin Núñez is going to miss chances and, you know, and not be the link-up guy that particularly want and stuff, if his game is going to be based on creating chances because of your speed, one thing you need to do is time your runs better. And he's been caught offside almost 3-4 times every single game. And at some point you have to go, you've got to be better at that. I'm letting you off the finishing because you're creating the chances. But if you're not going to create the chances because you're being caught offside all the time, then we really got to, you know, we're clutching at straws to defend this guy. So yeah, got to make sure he bends his run. You're a striker, and if you're fast, then that's your whole game plan. Do better.
We're gonna excuse me there. We're gonna go into Klopp's quotes right now. Quick super chat. KD says you could hear in the second half when we were playing better how they were yelling at each other. So fair shout about no communication. It's massive in football, guys. It's massive. It's so underrated.
This is the minimum, though, guys. This is we're
talking basics. We're talking basics.
It's baffling. Like if you're playing 5-a-side and you're getting battered, you would start talking to each other. But I don't know that. I like the super chats. Fair enough. That's a really good point. We sometimes are in this bubble of like, you know, it's like surely you should be talking to each other. That should be the bare minimum. Like
it's mad, isn't it? That's what we're talking about. But guys, I mean, this is the first time I'm reading the comments as well, people. So, you know, if we read something that we don't like or my facial reaction cringes, it is what it is, man. Klopp and Liverpool players were livid with Stuart Atwell. By the way, we got beaten fair and square. Nothing to do with the referee's decisions, but he was atrocious. Klopp and Liverpool's players were livid with Stuart Atwell when Brentford's third goal was not disallowed. The boss believes Brian and Wembo should have been penalised for a push on Ibrahim Khanage. Claims VAR hides behind the clear and obvious excuse. Thoughts, guys?
Not a foul for me.
Not a foul. It's a contact sport. It's not basketball. Significant contact to go down is how you determine a foul. It's not a foul. It's just it's Mourinho deflection, if you ask me. It's actually, I've never disagreed with anything more. Like, I mean, it's a contact. What more do you want? Like, you want the game to be played, and then when he falls down like that, we just make it non-contact. We'll just change the rules. Let's make it non-contact, because to me that just screams we've lost. We'll make an excuse. It's a goal's fair play. If that happened against Liverpool, I would be fuming if that goal got disallowed.
Fair enough.
It's Kanate's fault. You can't go down like that. It's not a foul.
He goes on to talk about Virgil felt the muscle a bit, but said he was fine and he's a very good judge of these kind of things, but I didn't want to take any risks. The physios look quite happy about it, but I don't think it's an injury. I think he just felt the intensity. What does he mean by that? The other two things were tactical. We could bring on Naby, who I thought had a really good game, and Robbo, who was exactly what we needed, that speed in behind. That was a reason for these changes. If that's the fucking case, Cav, like, am I stating the obvious when saying, if you were saying this, why didn't you start with those two guys?
Robbo especially. If the guy is capable, Robbo got a knock in the last game, right? So he's either injured or he's not. I don't understand this. He can do 45 minutes. If you said to me, he's just come back from like a hamstring injury, and if he plays sort of 60 to 70, 80 minutes, that it starts to tighten up and he might pull it. It's not. It was an impact injury. He's either injured or he's not. And when he come on, he did 45 minutes and looked absolutely fine. And if this is a game against Brentford, play him in the first 45, not the second. Like, crazy.
And then he also suggested he would like to have more game changers to choose from on his bench. Conroy, Curtis Jones and Carvalho were the only real offensive options. We could have had called on Brentford. Cody Gakpo should be available to face Wolves next Saturday, but it's clear the boss feels injuries remain a problem. We have a lot of players not available in the moment. You can see with our changes, not that we can throw on different offensive players to give someone a rest. They all pretty much have to fight through. I know you don't buy these. I know. I don't mean to, but I will ask you.
No, I just see the thing is, Grizz, I love Klopp, and the thing that gets me is I don't know sometimes if it's because of his own stubbornness, he's got himself in this situation now. So now it's like he can't flip the switch until the takeover, or like he can't really dig his heels in. But obviously, I don't even know if he believes some of the stuff he's saying now, and it's see the thing is, not to repeat what I said earlier, but you talk about plan A and people say we need a plan B. Like, I say that all the time, but genuinely see Klopp's style of play that's been successful. See if we had the players to do that. I'm fine with that because you've got a formula that works. But we don't have that, and it's very apparent, and it's just like, I feel like all this we're hearing, it's just to kind of paper over cracks slightly, and it's frustrating. But I don't know. It's a hard one because we're in the situation right now, aren't we, where we don't know when the takeover is going to happen, if it's going to happen this year. So that's obviously an added factor, but it's just the lack of adaptability at times is just so frustrating. Because I feel like, see, if I said to you, Grizz, right, we'll talk, say you've got a team, whatever, play 5 games or anything in life, and there's serious issues that we're getting, there's lots of things being exposed, you would make changes to nullify that. I feel like we don't. We just take a gamble and say, we'll outscore you, but we're not even good at that anymore. We're kind of like on the fence with that. We're sometimes good at that. Sometimes we'll have games like today. So, yeah, it's frustrating. Chris, what is your overall feeling? Because obviously you're at the game now. That happens, you're frustrated, and then you come home, you're in the car. See, every time you think about it, see when you go on your phone and you see these comments, like what's your overall feeling behind that?
I think I've just let off pure emotion, and rather than have a normal, rational, logical chat that we normally try to have on this channel and break it down, there's been obviously moments today where I don't know, lost it, Kev, or I don't know, or whatever. But that's the emotions of a fan, right? That's what we are. We have to release our emotions. We can't, if we're not being ourselves when we're in front of our laptops, what's the point of putting an act on? So that was an act. I actually felt that we are the easiest team to play. I actually felt that we were going to lose today. I actually felt that Klopp had a disaster class today. I actually felt that there was no way back. And Sass is in the chat, my boy who was with me. I told him, I said, if we get back in this game, I will streak. Mm-hmm. Because that's how confident I wasn't. And you know what?
I'm not sure who wants to see that, but
exactly. But check this out, guys. This is Liverpool Football Club that I'm talking about. The king of comebacks. We've done so many shit. How much shit do we chat about other clubs, about how we're the mentality monsters and we can come back whether we're 2-0 down, 3-0 down? My God, we've been 3-0 down to the greatest club side, one of the greatest club sides ever at half-time in a Champions League final. Don't talk to us. We can do that. But sometimes you just know, guys. And Conroy, that's how I felt, genuinely, mate. I didn't see anything to suggest. I know there was a patch, and I don't know how it came across on the screens, but on the game, in that first 15 minutes, I thought, yo, something. But I knew it's not going to last. Just like our season right now, we just can't sustain the good 4 wins in a row. One of them was pure bogus win against Leicester City. But again, no consistency. We can't, where we can win 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 games in a row. Do we really look like winning another 4 games in a row even to the rest of the season?
No chance.
Hell no.
No, and I feel like even in those spells, Grizz, like there was that bit, I feel like, again, like back to my earlier comment about Trent, by the way, I'm saying like Trent's amazing and like, of course you're going to utilize his strengths. I'm just saying, like Cav said earlier, to do that all the time, like that's our only... Pick another team, City, De Bruyne, but City have got Bernardo Silva, they've got their fullbacks coming vetted, they've got lots of things happening to create chances. It's not just like give the ball to Trent and do something. And I feel like we're solely reliable on our playmaker, which makes it quite, frustrating to watch. But for me, even like, it was like the bare minimum, like Keita does a 1-2 and like, oh, he's done really well. No, he's not, because he's done okay, but he's not shot. Like, why you not, like, I don't know what happens. Sometimes it's like to nullify the freeness in footballers to just say, why don't you just have a ping and see what happens? Because I think after the goal, I can't remember any other chances unless I'm forgetting. I don't think we did, which is kind of embarrassing. And against a team who's been here for a couple of years, the Premier League. I like Brentford, don't get me wrong, but it's not as if they were like penned in before they scored. That's just probably summarises where we are now. And it's
just to ask you, right? I think in moments like this, what managers tend to do, and this is where the most experienced managers get out of these situations, is they go back to basics and what they know, right? And when I think of Jurgen Klopp, I think, what does he know? And it's heavy metal football, okay? And we think we've seen that because we've had, ding-dong games where we've scored some and conceded some. But really, we've scored some because Nunes is creating chaos by himself and, we're lumping balls up to him.
Yeah. We've got players to control them as well, Cav. When you've got Thiago and Trent, they're top passers as well, which helps.
But the point I want to make is you do have Nunes, you do have Salah, you do have Thiago, you do have Trent, you do have Robbo. How can Klopp not get some good attacking play out of these guys? How can he not? Surely, I think that's his bread and butter. Okay, so if he can't do that, he can't put together good attacking play with them players. Why can't he give us motivated players that play heavy metal? Like, I can excuse bad defensively because maybe he's not been a pragmatic coach. He's not been one that's been amazing defensively. We've seen that we needed Virgil to step in to really make that system work. But I kind of think I can't see anything from you at the minute. Nothing defensively and nothing attack wise, and then nothing mentally that's right. So what is he doing? Like, I want to see in the games going forward, right? I understand we have injuries, but I need to see us either sit back and be really compact, or if we're going to let up the defense and accept that it's 1v1 defending and whatever happens, show me something in attack. But at the minute, I genuinely don't understand what Klopp, Linders, and these guys, what they're giving these players. Give me one element of the game that I can focus on. Give me some good sustained wing play, or give me something that I can be like, all right, we've gone back to basics. That's his bread and butter. Let's build again from there. At the minute, I don't know where we're building from because we literally have no foundation in terms of our play.
I agree with you. I've always said this. One of my criticisms, and look, we're talking about Jurgen Klopp here, the greatest manager in my lifetime, one of the greatest coaches out there, managers, call him what you want. But I've always said, Cav, and Conrad knows this, and I'm sure I know you've come on board last only a few months, but I'm sure you might have heard me say this before. One of the criticism I've got of Klopp is his lack of tactical flexibility. Pep Guardiola, we can speak about his funding and level of investment and whatever till the cows come home. Alex Ferguson, we can talk about how much he dominated and he created a monopoly in the financial market because of the power of Man United and everything. And he could afford to go and buy the best player from each rival. Sheringham from Kall from Newcastle. Do you get what I mean? He could do that shit. But all of these guys had a plan for opposition and they used to adjust accordingly and evolve their teams accordingly. Alex Ferguson, it pains me to say it, we're talking about Alex Ferguson here, but he would adjust. There were certain times he would go to, let's just say Arsenal away and pick 5 midfielders across and just play Rooney up front on his top. No problem. Normally he'd play flying wingers, Kanchelskis, whatever. I'm talking about, I can't remember the players, so don't tell me Rooney never played with Kanchelskis, but you get my people drifting in the chat.
There's examples of that. I think the 4-2 when John
So many. He'd throw in, for a physical game, he'd pick John O'Shea, Darren Fletcher, and Park in midfield. Come on in, break us down, play on the counter. John O'Shea would play wide left or something, Darren Fletcher wide right, and 3 midfielders, Keane, Scholes, and whatever. He would adjust accordingly. Pep Guardiola has evolved Man City again and again and again. Mahrez, Sterling, Sane, now inverted fullbacks. Now he's playing with a target man. I always call him Alf. But Haaland, total different. We tried it for a little while. And it hasn't worked. And this is my biggest criticism, guys. We've evolved. We've become. Do you remember when our criticism was our midfield is too boring? None of our midfield gets assists. Why is our midfield so dead? Give me that midfield all day and night right now. We were the most hard-working, machine-like team ever. But what we tried to do is evolve. And I get that and I appreciate that because you always try to evolve. But we haven't, what's the word? Fruits of the labor? Right now, we're not seeing the fruits of the labor right now. We're not seeing the fruits of our labor. So we've tried to integrate Thiago instead of Gini, Elliott instead of Henderson. You're taking out prime Gini and prime Henderson, who are 2 of your fittest soldiers that probably have repped your club, have done the most mileage, the most efficient, the most pressing, not glorious on the eye, not technically great. Gini was good. You get what I mean? Not assists, not goals, not drags, but Gini and Hendo were machines. You've replaced them with Thiago, who's a luxury tool. He is. He's one of those that you fling out. You know, the builders come out with their toolbox and say,
that's mad as well, guys.
You check this out. Check my tool out, bro. Check the new one. You know, it's flashy and it's good. And
you've got Thiago. You'd think you'd have midfielders around to help him. Like you'd have a 6 and an 8 to help him. But we're like, no, we're going to turn you into something you've never been.
And Elliot, and we've converted Elliot and Jones, 2 wide attackers, free spirits, into trying to make them disciplined 8s. It makes no sense right now. That's my take on it. I don't know if you've...
Do you think we've wasted Thiago's... Thiago should be the most respected player in that midfield who can do some running, but it should be players around him. Do you think Thiago's been really good, I think, don't get me wrong, and I think he's an unbelievable player, but do you think we've wasted the potential of how good he could be if we had the right midfielders around him to
look? This is going to sound like a shit excuse, and Cav, you can come in with your one. But but it's true though. You know that COVID year, it really fucked our shit up. We were primed to win it again, 100%. And you know when we had all the injuries, decimated, no centre backs throughout the season, I genuinely believe we had the potential and the capability, and everyone was in their peak, to go for the title again and the Champions League. That's the year that was wasted. And it's been downhill ever since, pretty much. Of course, last season was amazing and stunning. But I just think our mentality and our heart got through us last season. I don't think, we could, a few of us, I should say, could see a few, what's the word I'm looking for? A few issues.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's a few. Yeah, I would say, but then, do you know, sometimes he's not a bit fed up of hearing, we went for it last season. I agree, absolutely. There should be a bit of period where maybe that causes effect, but we're in January 2023 now, and it's like you feel like there's been enough examples of there's issues to at least be a bit more flexible. But then again, we go back to there's a lack of flexibility tactically. Yeah, I know I feel like we're in the situation now, and I love Klopp, and I still think, see where we were before Klopp, right? We could easily end up back there very soon. Like football is a cliff sometimes. You can be back there straight away. I feel like the difference with us is, thankfully, he took Liverpool. And listen, that doesn't mean it's still a job. But I feel like if we get these new owners and it works out, I still think Klopp's one of the best in the world to have. Even if we want to say just doing that formula, and people say one-trick pony, whatever, I'm not sure if I agree with that. But it's like, what he's good at. It'd be very interesting to still... We've won a league in Champions League by playing that way. To fully go that way, I'd still back that. So I still think it's important to have him. But he's got to look at today and be like, right, this maybe is what is it? Is it a Watergate? Is that a moment? What is it? It's like a
watershed moment.
Watershed moment to be like,
yeah. You don't want my ones there, Watergate. What the hell is Watergate?
Watergate is it? Yeah, no, I don't know what that is. But we're giving me a laugh. The thing I was going to say is, I still think at times we talk about the 4-5-1, or like if you should have 3-4-3. Sometimes I look at our players and I feel like, do you know what? See, at half time when I saw Matip coming on, I was like, is he going to try a free at the back? Just something a bit different. But no chance. No, do that. And I think, again, that falls under snobbery, in my opinion, because I think our team could be quite good.
I don't mind it. No, I don't mind the snobbery if you're still at the peak. So, for example, those 3-4 years that we played with that midfield, it was called the Brexit midfield, wasn't it? Add Milner in there as well in certain games, and maybe Naby as well in and around there. And everyone used to criticize it and moan about it. But look how good we were. This is why I say sometimes don't fix something that ain't broke. But I understand the evolution. But he tried to, and now there's a lot of question marks. And maybe I want to segue into influences from other coaches. What's made Klopp change that style, that formation, that type of player into picking something completely different? Look what I just told you guys. Elliot, Jones, Carvalho, replacing
as well.
Replacing the machines and monsters that I've named.
I think that obviously we know, or so we're told, it's not monopoly and we don't have endless money to spend. So when a talent like Carvalho and Elliot become available at their age, we kind of jump at it and think we can mold them into a player that would work for us. And we've seen players come in and be molded. Gini's a perfect example of how that can be successful, right? Going from a 10 into a midfielder. And we never, and Klopp never anticipated Elliott being a starter for us, though. That's what's come about because of the injuries. He's expecting first choice midfield of Fabinho, Thiago, and Henderson, and no one envisaged the drop off in Fabinho this season. Henderson's not been good, although since the World Cup he's had a little bit of a resurgence, and Thiago's had games where he's not been stellar, although he has been good. He's tried to evolve this team, but there's no evidence that he's successful at it. He's not shown it as before. We're just going off the fact that if you're good enough to get a team that were pretty poor, let's be honest about it, to one of the best in Europe, then you've got to be a decent manager. I just wonder if we're looking at this a bit wrong. And obviously, Buvac was with Klopp during that period, and then Linders comes in. And I do wonder if that was Klopp's philosophy, that was Klopp's idea. But as time's gone on, he's had a growing influence at the club, and Michael Edwards leaving and Julian Ward coming in, he's had to sort of take on a bit more of a role in terms of recruitment and what have you. And then you look at the possible takeover of the club, and we spoke about on that at the time that surely Jurgen's got to be talking to potential buyers because they'll want him at the club, and he might want to say and stuff. And he said it himself. Klopp says, I don't have all the answers and I rely on the team around me. And I just wonder, I look at his attitude on the sideline where he's seeing his 3-1 down and just smiling. And I'm just like, is this still your team? Are you listening to too many other people? Do you just need to maybe silence out a lot of outside voices and go back to what you want to do? Because there's been a suggestion that this ain't a Klopp team. This is a Linders team. And I don't know how right or wrong that is. That's just pure speculation to me because I can't see the evidence of it. But I remember Klopp of old where he's like running down the touchline, like shouting in refs' faces and stuff. And I think that's because he was trying to get something on the pitch that he wanted to portray. I feel like he's just a spectator in this game right now. And he's looking back at his coaches going, is this what you guys have been working on? Is this what you guys have been doing? Because you watch inside training videos and stuff. It's not Klopp that's taking the sessions. It's the coaches. And I do just wonder if maybe Klopp's evolved, but his evolution is took him away from what's been really important. And that is tactically for us as a team, game by game.
Yeah, Conrad.
Well,
there's a few varying opinions on that, based on that. But go on, Conrad. I'll put up some comments while you're talking.
Yeah, I just wanted to say though, I think like that kind of relates to Grizz's point earlier though as well. Because if you look at Alex Ferguson, like he was, I think like he's the best example of changing your assistants throughout the years. Carlos Queiroz, Stephen Clarn's a very good assistant coach. I think people forget that as well. And then there is numerous examples of other teams. And I've got to be honest, I think nowadays football, especially at the top teams, it's such a big thing. And as you say, Gav, I think you're always maybe going to get dragged into other things. I think that I'm not saying you need to be the director of football, but it may happen. And I think that's a really interesting point because I've said before, people keep saying, oh, maybe Klopp should Klopp out, or you saying that, and I would disagree with that. But I would say if people maybe saying at some point in the near future, maybe next couple of years or even sooner, that you maybe want to change your assistant coach, I don't see why that's so groundbreaking because you've seen it with other teams quite a lot. The most successful manager in England done that, quite often, and it was successful. I think a new voice is sometimes very good, and people always say it's not necessarily always your manager, but new coaches. I mean, people do that a lot. I wouldn't be against that. I feel like Pep Linders, to me, I don't want to jump on the bandwagon about the books. I think that's too easy. But there's always seems to be certain rumours about, didn't think that signing, or he pushed on Nunez a lot and stuff. Ironically, I think what maybe wasn't interested in the Matheus Nunez, but really pushed the boat in Darwin. I don't know how true that is, but again, I feel like I would say this firmly. I would be more interested in the future than changing the assistant than changing Klopp. Or, I feel like someone said in the chat, a new voice is quite important sometimes, a refresh.
Yeah. And maybe we should read into, sorry, Grizz, just quick. Maybe we should read into signs. Like, remember Klopp of old when he was really trying to build this team and get it to where he had his vision? He would be barking at players on the pitch. Even if he didn't think like they had long-term futures at the club, they had a role. And he would go mental at them, right? And you're seeing it every single week. But you don't see it anymore. And I just wonder if maybe we should read into that and go, a player's listening to him. Does he feel like he has to take a different approach of them because they've been here so long? And that's not to say that he can't find a new way of motivating them and getting a message across. But there is an element that the guys have been here for so long now. They know the system. They know it. Like there's not that German guy on the touchline that's new here. If he shouts at me, I don't care. I've kind of heard it before. Like it's only natural, isn't it?
No, you're right, guys. We mentioned some great managers of the past and present as well. We mentioned Ferguson. How many assistant coaches did he go through? We know Carlos Correa, Steve McLaren, just took my Brian Kidd. 3 I've just mentioned. He kept rotating.
Walter Smith.
Walter Smith.
Yep.
Jose Mourinho. He had that guy next to him all the time, but even he changed it, right? Pep Guardiola's had different. They actually took. They actually took the Liverpool coach, Pep something, another Pep something. Can't remember, is it Pep Seguera or something? I can't remember, people. But the point being, it's important, vitally important, that even these elite managers have new instructions, not instructions, you know what I mean? New ideas put into their head. Because you're right, Cav. Because Jurgen Klopp is, 14 years into management now? It's quite a long time. 15 years, something like that.
You want a good example, Grizz?
Go on.
The man that's top of the league right now was Pep's assistant. That tells you that he had ideas. And although that's great for Arsenal now, it would have been good for Man City when he was there as well. Because he was in number 2 to Pep, probably going, we should do this, we should do this. I thought of this passing, I've got this idea. And between the two of them, I imagine that was a great thing because they could chop up ideas and mix things up. And you've seen Arteta go on to have a really successful season. So maybe we need to look at that.
We're going to have to look at a few things, mate. I think the next two, even the next 2-3 weeks will be pivotal, guys. I still believe there will be incoming. I still think there will be announcements of some sort. So this month's going to be, it's going to get wilder. John Stewart says, off topic, but seeing Al Nassr want Kante and Bobby Firmino, lol, are they building a super team over there of Premier League legends? They're trying to get the World Cup over there, so they need some stars to promote the football in Saudi Arabia. So yeah, Bobby Firmino would be a great start. Obviously, we know Ronaldo's gone to Saudi Arabia as well. As I said, he is deliberating over it. Post-match was typical Klopp, Shane says. I feel like he thinks us fans watch a completely different game than him, and he thinks he's right. Look, instant post-match reactions, you can tell from us when fan media does post-match reactions, it's not the most stable place to be in mentally. So just imagine him. That's what I'm saying. And we're fans. We've got no dog in the fight, as in our livelihoods are not at stake for it. This man's livelihood, his reputation, everything's at stake. His team has just got smashed 3-1. Yeah, it can be scrambled thinking. But where I will give him stick and where I will put pressure on him is if he doesn't do anything about it. So say what you want to media, have a row, talk stupid, look stupid, but when the time is right, off the scenes, behind the cameras, do your shit. Fix your shit. Adapt. Make the changes that who are we to say we need, but you need to make your team the Liverpool Football Club.
I think it's plainly obvious there needs to be changes, Chris. You don't need to be brains of Britain to see changes need to be made. I think today was a humbler, if you will.
100%.
Yeah, that was the same. That was the same in August and the same in September.
Yeah,
we're in January now.
A therapy session, mate. I'm trying to get it all out.
You're
right. You're right, though, Cav. You are right. I know you are right, mate.
Whiskers says, thought it for a while. Klopp does nothing but get balls down the wings and spam crosses or get Trent to lump it up and hope for something. No, man, no. We can't just suddenly jump on this now and say this is how we've had all our success. It's not as simple as that, bro. But it's not as complex as we're seeming to make out. There is a fine line. There is somewhere in between. Read Linda's book and see how deluded staff are. Damn, it says I haven't read the book. I've got no intention. It doesn't really bother me either way. As long as incomings are not similar to Arthur Melo. Yeah, well, this is it. Arthur Melo was a massive sign of things to come, I guess, guys, right? Like, that wasn't a Liverpool signing. That wasn't a Jurgen Klopp signing. That wasn't very well recruited. That wasn't very well scouted. That wasn't someone we've been following for years. That was so un-Liverpool-like. If that wasn't an indication of something's up here, I don't know what was, right?
Yeah, I think even you, Grizz, in that one, I think a lot of people, it just seemed so lastminute.com. And there's so many strange things happening. If the Mateus Nunes goes ahead as well, like, that's a strange one in general. Like, if we end up paying 40, 45 million, it's like, Why'd you? I don't know. It seems to be something that was so, well done in the past. We seem to be outdoing a lot of the good work recently with some of the business we're doing. It's just a strange time. But as you say, Grizz, hopefully we get the business done in January, and then we can start looking a bit more positive towards the upcoming games.
We've actually got Thomas's son in the chat, Kevin.
Kevin, how you doing?
He says, let's give Brentford credit because they have turned over some good sides this season. Absolutely. I gave them credit right at the start, my friend. I said they were meticulous in their planning and tactical play. Meticulous. They had it all sussed to a T. I'm just cussing the shit out of Liverpool because it was so basic. And that's Liverpool's fault, not Brentford's fault. Brentford done what they needed to do to humble Liverpool, and they humbled Liverpool big time. So massive kudos, credit to Thomas Franks.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, they had a game plan, but you still do have to go out and execute it. So
of course you do.
Credit to them, yeah.
But they're known for being adaptable. It's not like they just play one way. They'll change the way they play to exploit teams' weaknesses, something that we're not very good at, to be honest, as well. So is that a snobbery thing at times? Probably. But again, they've done it to a few teams, done it to a lot of teams. They hammered Man United 4-1. Tottenham done well to draw that game 2-2.
Yeah.
This week. So they're a good team.
Obviously, we need an outlandish hot take from someone, and usually it is always coming from Omar in the chat. He suggests that number 7 is on the way.
Alpha Melo scoring in the final.
Feel free. You know, I said no abuse and no all of that allowed. I've suddenly changed my mind. Feel free to lash him in the chat.
So I seen a tweet earlier saying we're going to take this Liverpool team to Real Madrid, and I was like, oh my god, that is a horrible thought.
Might
not tune in that night. Maybe just switch the TV off and listen to it.
But check this out, guys. Forget about Real Madrid in the Champions League. Talk to me Wolves in the FA Cup on the weekend. I'm not looking forward to it at all.
Yeah,
that's true, and we're probably going to have to rotate as well. So
exactly.
Yeah, and you know what as well, Wolves are going to be a tough side. I think we're at home, aren't we? Yeah. We've got a bit of a break because it's on Saturday between now and stuff to have recovery, and I think after as well we've got a bit of a time to recover for the next game. But we're probably looking at that going. We need to rotate. We also need to find form. But we want to go through because this might be our only shot at a trophy this season.
Yeah.
Without doubt, it's our best chance at a trophy this season. Without doubt. Again, all those people that scoffed at the domestic trophies, I bet you fucking snap those trophies off if someone offered you them right now, right? Imagine 2 trips to Wembley, beating both on both occasions, beating Chelsea in finals and lifting 2 trophies. Imagine that, but you lot were busy scoffing and crying and moaning. Enjoy the good times, because now you're gonna just cry. At least I've enjoyed the good times.
Yeah, life comes at you fast.
Life comes at you fast, man. There's a super chat. Sorry, man, I need to eat, man. I haven't even eaten.
I'm sorry. I'm looking at a comment about the microwave. I don't know if Klopp said something about a microwave, and I don't know.
Bring it up in a minute. Grizz, would you be open to Fabinho's in the summer? Reasonable prices. He seems to have fallen off a cliff. John, I would. And I don't think it's an outlandish take. And I don't think I'm being disloyal to Fabinho. And I'm not being disrespectful for Fabinho. Fabinho goes down as one of the legends that made Liverpool win the league title and Champions League in my lifetime. So I will be forever indebted to Fabinho and the like. But Fabinho has fallen off a cliff. And I said it 6 to 12 months ago. So it's not high. It's not now. It's not just, he's had a bad game and we're calling it reaction.
No, we can back that. There's enough receipts there to back that. It's a lot of receipts on that.
Oh, that chicken shop. Yeah, I need to plug that chicken called Cluck. Guys, it's called Cluck, right? And it's called and it was like it's called buttercream fried chicken. Like it was advertised as buttercream fried chicken. And I've never tried buttercream fried chicken. I don't know if you guys have. And it was, I want to go. Have you tried it?
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, I've had that before.
And you didn't tell me.
No, but I think last time I had it was a while ago.
What's the difference between buttercream and butter chicken? That's what I want to know. Buttercream chicken. I've had a butter chicken, but I'm not. We can Google the number and email, and you can ask them.
Yeah.
Like I don't know why you asking Grizz Khan on a football chat.
Yeah.
But But yeah, man, listen, guys, Wolves, you're right. We need buttermilk.
Oh my, yeah. Okay, makes sense.
Sorry. You got me.
I thought I said buttermilk. I was thinking.
You got me. Buttermilk.
That should be a name. Buttercream chicken. That sounds quite good.
Yeah, it was buttermilk. Yeah. How we do it in the south. Yeah, fair enough. It was lovely. It was amazing. I really enjoyed it. That was probably the best time of my away day today. We go to Wolves. No, sorry, Wolves come to us. Surely changes, or do you go strong and like try to regain some confidence, guys? What do you do if you're Jurgen Klopp?
Who knows? No, I'm joking.
It's true. No, you're right. Who knows? You're right.
Who knows? I don't know. Probably. I imagine there'll be some changes, but again, you look at the bench. I mean, it's one of them. I agree, Grizz. I think it's our best opportunity, and if you rotate too much, I don't think touchwood we're going to get battered. But Lopetegui is known to be quite good tactically. I have been impressed with different spells he's done with different teams, and I thought they were. Who did they get a result against? Everton away, wasn't it? So like he will probably make them hard to beat. For me, I'd want us to be stronger than maybe we'd ideally plan to be, because again, I think it's our best chance of a trophy. So I'd maybe say Costas probably comes in. He gets a run at left back. Maybe Joe comes in at right back. But then I still think midfield wise, front line probably quite similar. But we'll see. Maybe Carvalho comes in as well.
Amir, I've just read your message, my friend. All my DMs are open. All my social media is open, and all of ours is open. Reach out to me, call me. I'll give you my number, DM me, message me, and we can have a chat. I'm always here to chat to you, my friend. We've had a laugh. Look, everyone goes through so much shit, but the fact that you're brave enough and you're an absolute legend to come into a public chat, public forum and speak about it, you're a legend, son. So you're an absolute hero out here. So message me, call me, message Cav if you feel comfortable, message Conroy, message anyone, and we can talk. We can go and have some buttermilk chicken, my friend.
Yeah, buttercream chicken.
Buttercream chicken. We need to go and get some buttercream chicken. Our thoughts and prayers are absolutely with you, my friend. We're here for you. All my facilities are open. So reach out, bro. People show him some love in the chat.
Definitely, man. And just what you said, just to add, Grizz, obviously, Conroy, I'm sure, says same. Find me on Twitter, DM me, whatever, right? But one thing to remember, everybody has a moment in life, no matter who you are. I don't care who you are. You'll have a moment in life where you'll struggle. So just think about that and know that, yeah, you've reached out, bro. You've made the first step. And then just honestly.
That's the hugest step. That's the massive step. That's a hugest step. It's a gangster step. Only real ones do that and are brave enough to do that. So, my friend, reach out to us and we're here for you.
Any of us. DMs are open.
Absolutely. Guys, we must call it a day. We must rest. We must go again. We have to go again. Today has been a shambles of a day in terms of Liverpool Football Club. A lot of issues, a lot of things to resolve. But today is our day to ponder and to discuss what happened. And I think we've done that to the best of our abilities. Emotions ran high. People got upset. People laughed at us from other clubs. It's all part and parcel of the game. Football is a humbler. That's what I keep saying, and I mean it. Life's a humbler. So, cherish your loved ones around you. Enjoy the good times because, they don't last forever. This has been Post-Match Khanage with me, Cav. Conroy decided to help us as well. Appreciate your love. Appreciate your support. Like if you haven't. Subscribe if you haven't. We'll be back with a proper, calm analysis of the game, possibly tomorrow. We see how it goes from there. Over and out, people. Much love. Take care.